Welcome back to another episode of Everything But the Lesson Plan. I am your host, Francesca Thompson, and today we're diving into something we all can relate to: the impact of that one special teacher who truly made a difference in your life. Pause and think about that teacher that made a significant impact on you. What did they do? The teacher who didn't just teach the material, but inspired you, challenged you, and left an impression that stuck with you forever. In a time where we're facing a nationwide teacher shortage, I thought that it would be great for us to get back to sharing stories of why teachers are so important and how they make a difference in our lives. So each season on Everything But the Lesson Plan, we have someone on the show to share about their favorite teacher. Today, that someone is Dr. Semia Howze. I am so excited to hear her story. Welcome to the show, Semia. How are you today?
I am doing well, Fran.
I have been looking forward to this conversation. Semia is a classmate of mine from high
Yes,
school.
Henderson,
Henderson class of 95. Well, I guess
95.
yeah. I don't like telling people everything because then they start calculating our age.
Right.
Well, I'm glad that you're on today. And this is, like I said, one of my favorite episodes because it's talking about who your favorite teacher was. And so I can't wait to hear who you share. But before we do that, let's get into a little bit about you. What are you
Okay.
doing? And where did you land as far as career wise?
Okay, so I was born and raised in DeKalb County. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All of the schools that I attended were in DeKalb County. Upon leaving Henderson High School, I attended West Georgia for,
Okay.
my undergrad. And then I went to West Georgia for my undergrad, majoring in English journalism.
Oh,
Got
okay.
out, went to work for a newspaper, stayed there for a week, and was like, "No, this is not it." So I went to Mercer University, where I
Okay.
got my master's degree in early childhood education.
Mm-hmm.
Immediately went into teaching.
Okay.
Absolutely loved it. While teaching, I got my specialist degree and my doctoral degree in educational leadership.
Oh,
So from
wow.
there, and it's just been an amazing journey, and that'll be a conversation for another time. But
Yeah.
so I was able to do all of that while I was teaching, which was great. I was able to get all of those degrees while I was teaching. So, friend, I have been in the classroom. I taught third through fifth grade. Then I became an EIP teacher where I was able to touch kindergarten through
Mm-hmm.
fifth grade. And
Mm-hmm.
I stayed in that role for a while. And my principal came to me and she was like, I think it's time for me to move you into becoming a coach. So I became a literacy coach and now I am an academic coach. Okay.
Oh,
But
wow.
outside of that, I am an adjunct professor at Grand Canyon University, where I have been for 10 plus years. And I absolutely love
Love it.
it.
So you are
Absolutely.
still in the classroom?
No, I'm not. I am outside of the classroom. So what I do is I go in and I work with teachers with their students in reading. Okay, so
Okay.
that's the field of study that I work with the teachers in reading.
Yeah.
Yes, I touch on math, but my true focus is reading and
Reading.
writing.
Yeah,
Hmm.
and there's been a lot of news coming out lately about reading and the impact of, I guess, COVID and just some other things that are going on with our students. So
Yes.
I did not know all of this. I didn't even know you are Dr. House. I never knew that.
Really, really?
Girl, where am I
Yes,
just finding this out? Oh my
yes.
gosh. Well, congratulations to all.
Thank you, thank
Yeah.
you.
So, this conversation is more about what what teacher made an impact
Okay.
on your life, right? And so
Hmm.
it's always good to hear the story of where you are now, and
Hmm.
so we can hear, what it is what type of student you were when you were in school. And I think that is my next question is, and I
Hmm.
think I put a link in the question. It
Hmm.
talks about different student types. And
Yes.
so tell me about, your K through 12 experience. What type of student were you and how did this show up in the classroom?
So in elementary school, because back when we were going to school, it was kindergarten through seventh grade. So I would consider myself a teacher's pet.
You
I was
were?
always that helpful one, just always beside the teachers, just want to lend a helping hand. I mean,
Mhm.
it wasn't my fault, it just happened to just, you know,
Yeah.
me as always, the one that the teacher always calls on.
Calls on.
I can't. Had nothing to do with that.
Yes.
Will I say I was a leader? Absolutely. I was definitely a leader. I led the groups, because we were placed in the groups, and it was always, I need for you to lead this group, and I did just as what I was told,
Yeah.
and that truly transpired into what I am today, being a
Mhm.
leader.
Yeah.
And that's what I try to instill in my daughter. We are
Yeah.
leaders, we are not followers.
That's
Okay.
right.
I was definitely, once I transitioned into high school, I think just being around all of the different nationalities, and it was definitely an eye opener. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? I kind of fell back a little bit, just kind
Yeah.
of went into the scene, just kind of melted down a little bit. I was still a go getter. I was always a fun person to be around. I love being around people. I love learning. I had my set group of friends, who I
Yeah.
enjoyed spending time with, being around.
Hmm.
Very talkative, very talkative. I was that student that got an NI for conduct because I was always talking. But as you see, it works in my
Yes,
field now.
yes, it does. Look at
It works in
that.
my field now. So I definitely love to talk. And I said it definitely paid off,
Yep.
because I have to talk to the students, I have to talk to the teachers, and I
Parents.
have to talk to my grad students all the time.
Hmm.
So, and it's something I don't mind doing. I'm not a shy person. I don't mind, I'm just a talkative person.
Yeah, and that's good. I everything you're saying, I'm like, yeah, that's Semia. I remember her in high school. She was definitely a leader in high school. What clubs were you in high school?
So I was in FBLA.
I
I
was
was
in that.
in Ladies of Distinction. I was in the writing club. And
Mm-hmm.
that was pretty much it.
It.
I caught them, and let me tell you what's so funny. I was just telling somebody about this. I went out for track my
Mm-hmm.
ninth grade year, and I cannot remember who the coach was, but they had us jumping up, hitting bricks on the wall. And that was the last day. That was the first and last day. I was like, oh no, this is not for me. I'm going to be a club person.
Yes. So, what hobbies, what's your favorite hobbies? What hobbies do you have now?
Ooh, okay. So outside of working and doing my college courses on the side, I've gotten back to reading. Okay.
Okay.
I used to be a really big reader. I actually wrote a
Hmm.
book. Um, but I've gotten back to reading, and I'm almost finished with this book I just purchased probably about 2 weeks ago. So I'm
Wow.
almost done with that book. I love to shop. I'm a shopper, but I had to
Okay.
scale back a little bit. Let me tell you, I have really been an avid exercise. When I tell you I have been in the
Wow.
gym
Yeah.
every single day, we had post planning. Right after we got out for post planning, I went right to the gym.
Yeah.
And ever since school has been out, I have been in the gym every single
Hmm.
day.
That's
I love going.
self-care right there.
Oh, you have to have it. And I'll be
Yeah.
50 next year. So I said, oh, definitely, I'm showing up for 50 next year.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love going to the movies. I'm a real big date dater of self. So I love
Hmm.
going to the movies, going to restaurants by myself. So those are just a few of my little hobbies. And also
Yeah.
binge
Yeah.
watching
Yeah.
TV. Yeah.
Netflix been coming with it lately, so I'm like, I'm gonna have to get up off of
Listen,
this.
and I
I'm
have
supposed to be
people that,
reading.
right? And I have people that would send me a text and a heartbeat, check this show out, check this show out. So
Hmm.
it's definitely been, an eventful summer thus far.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. So we're now down to the question. We know a little bit about you, and oh, the book you just said you wrote, is it available for purchase?
Standing the test. So I wrote that book back in 2010,
Uh-huh.
when I was working on my doctoral degree. So I didn't put as much pressure as I should have on pushing the book. It was on Amazon for a while. It still may be on Amazon, but I think they dwindled it down to like a Kindle or something like that. But
Okay.
if people want one, I can always purchase for them, and I can
Gotcha,
get the
gotcha.
book to them.
Okay, okay. Yeah. So I always like to kind of highlight what my guests are doing. And if you have
Yes.
something out there you want to promote, just let me know for
Okay.
sure. So now we're down to the question.
Mhm.
Okay. When you were in school, it could be college, high
Mhm.
school, elementary, middle. Who was your favorite teacher? The person who made an impact on you?
Okay. So I went back and forth, and it really wasn't a hard because I did. I looked at college, I looked at high school, I looked at
Mm-hmm.
elementary school, and this one person continues to stick out in my mind
Mm-hmm.
because he was definitely impactful in my life, and that was Mr. Leaks.
Mr. Lee.
Mr. Leaks was definitely that teacher that made that impact on me, and I actually saw him not too well. It was probably about a few years ago. I went and saw him. He was the AP of a high school, so it was quite a few years back. But I just wanted to let him know, the impact that he made on my life. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? And I'm so glad that I was able to see him. I haven't seen him in recent years, but I definitely enjoy being in his class.
And what did he teach?
Math.
He was your math teacher.
Hmm.
And was
Hmm.
it, did you like math and or
I
did he make,
absolutely hated
okay.
math. Absolutely. I am definitely reading all the way. So
Yeah.
I absolutely hated math.
So was his teaching style something that made you enjoy learning math at all, or was it just everything else he poured into you?
So that's the thing. He created a safe space. And
Okay.
that's what I try to make sure that people understand as teachers. You have to create that safe space for
Mm-hmm.
your students. Okay.
Yeah.
It was safe. It was fun. It was no dumb questions are being asked. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? When I say thoroughly explain a math problem at that board, he had no problem doing that. What was trivial, what was hard, became so easy because
Mm-hmm.
he took the time with his students. And that's
Yeah.
what's needed. We can't rush education. We just
Yeah.
cannot rush education. And I
Yeah.
try to make sure people understand that.
Yeah,
So,
that's true. And especially when it comes to math, I'll never forget when I was in, I guess this would have been elementary school, and the our teacher was helping us. Well, we were supposed to learn our multiplication.
mhm,
And so every week she would make us stand in front of the class and do it in front of the class. And girl, the fear in me,
yes,
okay?
yes,
I was like, it was too much for me. That was a little bit of trauma for me to be standing in front of class, and especially with me back then. I wasn't that type of person. I wasn't
yes,
trying to be out there like that. And so that was just not a, so I love that you said he created a safe space, especially when it
yes,
comes to math, because that can make or break a student to want to, it's like, oh, I'm not going to be fooling with this anymore, or I
yes.
love this.
And he took the time, even if, we had to get with him after school. He was like, look, if you need some extra time where I need to sit down and work with you all on something, he took that time to do that,
Yeah.
because again, math was not my strong suit.
Mm-hmm.
So I needed to make sure that I knew the ins and out of, and I think I
Yeah.
took algebra with him. I had more than one class with him, but I know one of the classes was algebra. And when I tell you, like I said, I was shaking. I was
Yeah.
shaking because I was like, oh my gosh, I am not going to get this. And I tell
Yeah.
you, from the very first day that I stepped
Mm-hmm.
into his classroom, it was like relief
Yeah,
because, like I
that's
said,
good.
he was just so fun to be around, and then his teaching style was just on point.
Yeah, I love that. And people need to hear that. That safe space is important, especially with those subject areas that can be a little
Hmm.
challenging for people.
Yes,
And so whenever you do that for students, they're more willing to learn, they trust you, all
yes,
of those good things. So I'm
yes.
glad that he was your person.
Yes,
So
and
you,
let me say this, and that's why I wanted to give him his flowers.
mm-hmm,
That's why I found him, because I was looking
good.
for him because I wanted to let him know that, something like it was very like life changing.
Yeah,
It really let me know that there are teachers out there because I've had teachers that would, won't even get up to the board, won't even take time to teach you, won't even work one on one with
That's
you. You know what
right.
I'm saying? So for him to just take that time out to make sure that
Yeah.
his students understood everything, I wanted to make sure he understood that somebody really walked away and they really
Yeah.
learned something from that. So,
Hmm. I love that. Well, you know what? You're an educator. You just shared who your favorite educator is. And so when you are in this space, right?
mhm,
And we talk about our teachers, especially our new teachers who are
mhm.
coming in, they are learning. What type of advice would you give a new teacher?
So, and this is a quote that I just love. It's so funny. It's something that I think about all the time, because when I think about coming in as a new teacher,
Mm-hmm.
I had to set my mind on, listen, these students are going to be your family for an entire year, and they need to understand that they are family with each other. And
Mm-hmm.
once that tone is set, everything else is going to be smooth sailing. So, with
Mm-hmm.
that being said, this quote that I really love, it says, students may forget what you taught them, but they
Mm-hmm.
rarely forget how you made them
Feel.
feel. And
Yeah.
that once again comes back to that safe space.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I remember Mr. Leaks. I remember my dissertation chair. I
Mm-hmm.
remember plenty of my elementary teachers because I know the safe space and how they made, not only how they made me feel, but how they made all of my peers feel in the
Mm-hmm.
classroom. You
Yeah.
weren't hollering at us. You weren't trying to belittle us. You weren't trying to
Yeah.
put us down. You would come to us. You would speak peacefully to us.
Yeah.
Again, the tone for new teachers, the tone is set on day one.
On day
Your
one.
students, your students are going to be able to read you. Trust and
Mm-hmm.
believe that. And
That's
when I
right.
tell you, and this is real talk,
Mm-hmm.
when you have formed, and no, we are not their friends. We are not.
Mm-hmm.
But when you have formed a bond with a
Yep.
student,
Mm-hmm.
they would do anything you ask them to
Right.
do. And I mean that. I
Yes.
mean that. Even on
Yes.
their worst day, you can sit
Yeah.
them down and you can say, hey, little Johnny, I know you've had a bad day today, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm here. I care about you. I'm in your corner. You haven't been finishing up your homework the last few days. I
Mm-hmm.
really need for you to get this done for me. And what they'll say, okay, I'll get it done
Mm-hmm.
for you because
Yeah.
they know that you care about them.
Yeah.
They know that you
Yeah.
care about them.
Yeah. You speaking some facts right here, ma'am. This is it. Okay. Safe space.
Safe
That
space.
bond is
Mm,
important. My new teachers definitely make sure you're forming that bond.
yeah.
So, what's next for you, my dear? What you got going on? What's in the mix?
So next for me, like I said, I have five more years in this game, and I
Really?
am done. Okay.
Okay.
By the time I'm done, my daughter should be graduating college.
Yeah.
So my next step is to want to teach college full time.
Full time.
So I think the teaching adjunct was just a segue,
Mm-hmm.
into what I think God's plan is for me.
For
So
you.
I think for, my next phase of life, it's going to be a full-time professor.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Dr.
Mm-hmm.
Semia Howze. Okay.
Yes.
Yes. All right. Well, I am so glad that you got on the show with me today and
I
just
thank you
shared.
for even taking the time to even ask me. When you sent me that,
Yeah.
I was like, oh, yes. Thank you, friend.
Yeah, you were a leader in high school, and I was like, I wonder who made an impact on her. And so I said, I'm gonna have to invite her to the show so she can tell her own
Yes.
story.
Thank you so, so much. Thank you for having me. Thank
Yes.
you for having me.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for sharing your story today, Samia. I truly believe stories like yours have the power to inspire and remind people why teachers matter so much. This episode was more than just a conversation. It was a reminder that teaching is connected to passion and purpose and the people who shape who we are. We never know who may be listening, but I hope someone hears your story and finds a piece of their own favorite teacher in it. To my listeners, make sure you subscribe to Everything But the Lesson Plan and share this episode. That's all for this week. And to my educators, keep doing one thing for me. Keep thriving.